Integration crisis. German Muslim students favor Sharia over country's own laws. An alarming new study from the Criminal Research Institute of Lower Saxony has revealed a concerning embrace of Islamist extremism among Muslim students in German schools. The survey of 308 Muslim pupils found that 67% agree that the Quran is more important than the laws of Germany, with nearly half, 45%, believing that an Islamic theocracy is the best form of government. Disturbingly, over a third said that they, quote, understand violence against those who insult Allah or the Prophet Muhammad, like they think it's fine. While 21% think that, quote, the threat to Islam from the Western world justifies how Muslims violently defend themselves. And 18% agree that violence is justifiable if it's used to spread and implement Islam. The findings reflect how many of these students come from deeply conservative Muslim families who have immigrated to Germany in recent years, with some areas like Berlin and Frankfurt now having over 80% Muslim student populations. A state security officer warned that the spread of such radical beliefs has led to more and more parents of German children turning to counseling centers because the Christian children want to convert so that they are no longer outsiders at their school. Politicians from parties across the spectrum voiced alarm, with the Christian Democrats' Christoph van Vries, I don't know how to pronounce that, saying the study shows, quote, how deep the traces that the political Islam has already left in Germany are. So this is a study that came out recently, and there's a few things I wanted to say before we dig into this. One is that this study is not representative from a statistical perspective, right? I don't mean that it's not representative of like some views that exist, but I mean it's not statistically representative because of the low number of people that were polled. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind.
Well, I mean, how many people were polled? Because if it's randomized properly and if it's weighted based on census data, then you don't need that much of a sample size to get a good study.
308 pupils that were polled.
That's good enough. That's pretty good.
I know,
as long as the data collection. Yeah.
I am saying that because this is all like published in German, right? And I usually like when I find studies, I like to go look at the studies itself and go dig into the methods and go look at these things myself. And it's all in German. Mm-hmm. So I can't do that for this one. So that being said, I'm taking it with a grain of salt because I can't go look at the methodologies myself. Like, I don't know how well or how they randomized it. I don't know if they adjusted for populations and so forth. So I'm just saying that because I think it's important to consider. Yeah. So
all you have to do when you don't have access to that is just to see if it's been done by a credible source that people recognize, as a place that does polling,
Sure.
It's cited by other academia, and it's basically a legitimate place. That's all you need to do. You don't need to actually go read the methodology. All you need to do is just to look at the credibility of the source.
Yes, but once again, this is all in German, so I'm not able to do that.
Okay.
That's merely why I'm saying this, because I think it's important. Right. So that was just my asterisk to everything. So let's actually talk about what the findings were. Basically, and I think the most, in terms of the questions that were asked, the ones that received the most support is that the Quran is more important than the laws of Germany, and almost 46% believing that Islamic theocracy is the best form of government. So these were the statements that received the highest endorsements. However, Armin, is that really that surprising? Is the belief that the Quran is the most important form of law, correct me if I'm wrong, is a standard belief,
Well, okay, here's the thing. Most Muslims, many Muslims. So this is the thing. Um, this is the dilemma. Many Muslims live and think non-Islamic lives and non-Islamic thought. You know, however, that's the Trojan horse. That's the Trojan horse, because a lot of reformist Muslims like Majid Nawaz and people like him point to how many Muslims don't have problematic views or don't do problematic things. Um, Even though it's in the Quran, even though it's in the Hadith, to be this violent, to be this um, non to be to have such low levels of tolerance for other people's opinions is within the foundations of Islam. Okay, it's fundamental within Islam. You cannot separate those problematic aspects of Islam from Islam unless you could make somehow the Quran separate from Islam, which you can't. Or it wouldn't be Islam anymore. But it is true that many Muslims, their mind is not occupied with Islam, even though they have the name Muslim. Their minds are not occupied with Islamic thought. But here's the problem: the fact that they're Muslim means they're it's they create the potential for that to happen at any moment when necessary. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're a Muslim, we have two types of we have viruses that are lethal right at the beginning and could make you sick and kill you right away. And then we have viruses that you could become a carrier without actually it showing any symptoms, right? And if you don't think about it, it seems like that the virus that is expresses itself right away and shows the symptom and is lethal right away is more dangerous. But it's actually the second virus that is more dangerous because it spreads in society for much more easily because it doesn't express itself. Uh, People don't react to it right away, and it just spreads and spreads and spreads, and it's when it does show the symptoms, because it has spread so wide and far and wide, it becomes eventually becomes more lethal than the first virus. So this is a lot of when the reformers point to Muslims who don't have Islamic thought and don't act Islamically, they're trying to convince you that Islam is not that dangerous because so many Muslims in the world are not acting upon it. But actually, in my opinion, that makes Islam more dangerous because it spreads because you don't feel the threat. It spreads. If you felt, if it was, this is why Islam is more dangerous than Nazism, right? Because not with Nazism, you feel the threat right away. It's like the first virus. You're like, okay, this is like horrible. This is like, yeah, we should stop this. That's why Nazism didn't manage to stay in power we managed to stay in power for only one generation because it was immediate. Like the threat was felt by the world immediately. But Islam is like the second virus, is you don't feel the threat immediately and it spreads. And then when you feel the threat, it's already too late. And again, these students are an example of that. They were carriers. So you're a Muslim, you don't act upon it, you don't think about it, but because you belong to the Ummah, you could turn like that at when the ummah is in danger or when the ummah needs you to. It's like a much more advanced kind of virus, and it's much more deadly and it's a lot more dangerous. And again, a lot of these students that you're saying are speaking like this, they didn't think like this before. They were just Muslim. I mean, their parents even weren't telling them like, "Oh, one day we will like take over the world and like enforce Sharia law." They
Well,
weren't
some
being
people are
told
being
like
taught
that.
that.
Some of them are. That's my point.
I
A
know
lot of
people
them
like
weren't.
that.
You're missing my point. You're missing my point. I know there are people like that. My point is that a lot of them are not like that. A lot of them were eager to be like other students, right? And not think and talk like this. But now they have switched to being like, you know what, other students need to be like us. A lot of them were like the same students who were like, you know what, Islam is a religion of peace. A lot of the same students, same Muslim students, are now saying like, you know what, Islam is not a religion of peace, and we should stop apologizing for endorsing violence when violence is needed. A lot of the same students. So what I'm saying is that it has that. I mean, the amazing thing is that this is completely within the DNA of Islam, because Muhammad was like that as well. Muhammad had a Meccan phase and a Medina phase, which when he did not have the power. I mean, this is not conscious. This is not like this is how the virus operates without it necessarily needing to make Muslims plan it ahead of time. It just works. That's why it operates like that. So when Muhammad himself didn't have the power, he wasn't acting like, yeah, everybody's going to be forced to convert to Islam. And when he had the power, then he acted like, yeah, everybody needs to be submit to Islam, when he managed to get the power. And again, once the Muslim population in Western countries grows, at some point they're going to notice that they have the power and they have more influence than they used to. They don't even need to take over completely for them to notice they have more influence compared to before, and they need to be less apologetic, and they could be more aggressive with their views, because now they can actually influence politics. That's how it works. And also the students will see, especially younger students who want to be rebels, who want to act like they have control over politics, who want to be revolutionaries, when they didn't have, when it was so taboo to say these things, now that they see that there's a demand for it, it's just they will give into that. They will be unique, they will be revolutionaries. And now, instead of acting like, oh, we're Muslim and others, the society is going to look down upon us, so let's be secular and democratic and peaceful, now that they look like okay, maybe you should submit to us, we shouldn't submit to you. Now that you're scared of us, we're going to enjoy the fact that you're scared of us, and maybe you should submit to our ways. Why you guys are just racists and bigots, who all this time we were submitting to your ways? Maybe our way is the better way, and you should submit to our way. That's how it works. That's how it always works. And again, when I'm saying nominal Muslims are carriers, and again, this is not the nominal Muslims who do not act upon Islam. That's not a proof that Muslims are, Islam is peaceful. That's a proof that this virus is everywhere, and when it has the upper hand, it will be able to turn violent and aggressive when it needs to be. And this is proof. This is what we're saying, because a lot of these students, even though if they come from conservative families, they didn't used to talk like this before. Now they see that they can, and they will, and this will happen more.
I don't think all nominal Muslims are like this.
I never said all.
Okay.
I never said all. I never said
That's
all.
true. I know.
But
You're right.
Yeah.
I do apparently, and this is based on reporting that are not from sources that I find the most credible, so take this with a grain of salt. But there's issues in schools where if girl students start acting more Western, then the male students will start enforcing honor culture norms upon them. And they literally will enforce gender segregation amongst each other. And there's literal segregated societies within the schoolyards where the non-Muslim students are being excluded, which is motivating some children to want to convert to Islam so they'll be included. Now, I don't know how true this is. If it is true, however, I don't think this is a genuine conversion. I think this is children who just want to be included. I don't think they're going to actually start being observant or anything. But Armin, let's say that is true. What do you think of that trend?
But that's how conversion works, by either look at me or include. It's either look at me or include me. It's one of these desires, right? It's not. That's how conversion to, and not just religion, to any tribe works. I mean, it's only there's three options, right? I want to be correct. I want to have the beliefs that match reality. That's the lowest number, right? The two other reasons are, please let me be included. I want to be included in your tribe. Or look at me, I'm different. So it's either a desire to be normal or a desire to not be normal and be extraordinary, right? It's either like, I want to be different, I want to stand out, or no, I don't want to stand out as a weirdo, I want to be part of the tribe. These two desires are the main reasons why people pick up any ideas. So ideas, for some of us, ideas are supposed to be a reflection of reality, our beliefs. But for most people, it's two things. It's their identity card, and their membership card. When most people pick ideas, they're not necessarily thinking like, are these ideas true? They're like, I need membership in a tribe, and I need to have an identity. I need a way to define myself. That's how people pick their beliefs, right? So yeah, the students who are seeing that Islamism is growing, or is becoming the trend, or it's cool to be Muslim because you seem like a radical, or you seem like a revolutionary, they look at that and they might find that identity appealing, or they might look at the crowd and be like, yeah, I want to be part of that. I want to join that tribe, and that's why they pick up this belief.
Yeah. Can we get racy updates in between each news segment?
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I'll read the super chats. Gasian American gave a super chat thank you, saying, I think men in the West should adopt platonic male hand holding from Arabs. And I completely agree. It's adorable. It's adorable. I love it.
Coming from such a gay person, I do not trust that suggestion. If this was coming from someone else, I think I feel like there's ulterior motives here by Asian American. Okay, so maybe if this was suggested by someone else, maybe, but not by Asian American. I do not trust.
Oh my god! How dare you? So funny. It is adorable though. Just some bros holding hands. We love some bros holding hands.
I'm just kidding, by the way.
Call of Ghidorah gave us 65 Swedish krona. Thank you. Saying, what do you guys think of the journalist Mark Lamont Hill? Also to Armin, do you believe that there may be a new revolution in Iran soon? Long story short, I am not a fan of Mark Lamont Hill. I basically think he's a progressive shill. Armin, do you believe that there will be a new revolution in Iran soon?
So here's the thing. I do not know, and neither does anyone else. Anybody that tells you, what I would tell you is that it is possible. Like, I could see it happening. There are enough pressure, and there's enough of a motive, like the motivation behind it, for it to happen soon. So if it happens soon, I would not be surprised. But whether it will happen soon or not, it's impossible to predict given the number of external factors that are at play. However, I could tell you that there are three things that will make it extremely more likely for it to happen. One is the death of Khamenei. Okay, again, I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm just saying that whatever the probability is, and nobody knows that number, it will jump to it will. If the probability is 30%, this will make it 60%. If the probability is 80%, this will make it 95%. I don't know where we are at right now. I just know these three things will increase it, right? Death of Khamenei, satellite internet being accessible in Iran, a major drop in the price of oil and gas. These three events will make a revolution in Iran extremely more likely. But how much more, like how much would it be at? It's impossible. Here's the thing: be very skeptical of anybody that will give you very certain, like confident predictions about such things.
Yeah. Yep. And Kool-Aid Man Kill gave a super chat saying, is like a sleeper cell moment is the majority.
Like saying it's like a sleeper cell. The difference between what I'm talking about and a sleeper cell is that it's the meme organically working. It's not conscious. It's not deliberate. It's not like Muslims scheming and having a long-term plan. The meme works as if it's intelligent without actually being intelligent. Like, it's an evolutionary process that happens organically. It's a survival of the memes rather than survival of the genes. It doesn't require the active, deliberate participation of the members. So just like memes survive without, just like animals and living beings survive without genes being conscious of what's happening, memes also survive and grow like viruses without individual humans necessarily being conscious of what's happening. So it's not deliberate most of the time.
And genes exist to reproduce. Also, if you are watching us on Twitter right now, make sure to come over and join us on YouTube, because we have a lot of people watching us on Twitter right now, but you can actually interact with us in the live chat on YouTube. Make sure to like the stream, everyone. And Armin, any updates?
Okay, so from 15 minutes ago, I have a couple of updates. From 15 minutes ago, a speaker of the government in Iran said that there is no news, and now now there's only two things that we could do: is trust the people who are working to find Raisi and his crew, and also praying. So there's two things we have to do: the trust the people and pray for Raisi people. And then
boys, let's go.
Guys, well, actually, let's start our own prayer circle and pray the opposite. So maybe our prayers will overcome their prayers.
Wait, bring out your skull.
Oh, yes. So let's see who's the. Let's see if our gods are more powerful than Allah, right? They're going to pray to. Who are we praying to? Because we only recognize the gods of YouTube. But that's not going to work. Wait, can we even pray? No, like, okay, let's not specifically say what we're praying to, but because YouTube might not like that. But we're just praying for whatever the opposite of what they're praying for. That's what we're praying to. People who are long-term watchers of this channel, they know why we use the skull, but we're not going to explain.
Yes, exactly. if you're a diehard fan and you have to explain in the live chat.
Yes. Okay, still? Okay. Wait. Are you going to say anything, or are you just going to do inner thoughts? Don't say it directly.
All the time, God is good. And God is good all the time.
Okay. Oh yeah, D is like make the noise or it won't work. Yeah, like Okay, we're silly. Okay. Wait, let me see if I have more news. So the White House said that President Biden was just informed of what happened. Yeah. So President Biden knows now that Raisi might be dead. By the way, guys, Raisi is like not that important in Iranian politics. He doesn't make any decisions anymore.
No.
But this is still going to be a big deal. But he himself, it's not like he was responsible. The decisions in Iran comes from Khamenei, the supreme leader, not the president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got another super chat. You want to respond to that?
We did. Great. HD Drake gave a super chat. Thank you. Saying, Armin, I agree with Asian American that there should be more platonic male hand holding. Wait, I'm gay too. Oh, well, there's always butt slapping on American football. True.
See, I knew it. I knew this proves my point. These people have different motives than you, so.
I don't know, but can you be more gay than the U.S. Armed Forces? I don't think it's possible. Swear to God.
Okay.
Service members do the gayest stuff with each other. It's crazy. Why do men love to haze each other doing extremely homoerotic stuff? It's so.
I think a lot of them it's just the only way for a lot of bi and gay people to express themselves without. Because I think still taboo. Some of these are still taboo, so you have to find other ways to express them.
No, it's not about it actually being about male and gay stuff. It's about this is one of the best ways for actually straight men to express affection to each other and be physically close to each other. They have to like make a joke out of it to make it okay.
Okay.
Kool-Aid again gave another super chat. Thank you, saying love Iranian culture started with Marjan Satrapi. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. Satrapi. And TJF gave a super chat. Thank you, saying new viewer. I knew Druze served in the IDF, but was shocked by Muslim IDF. I thought Islam as a doctrine resisted assimilation. What is Israel doing right to achieve Muslim service in the IDF? Thank you.
Well, they're just giving them better lives. They're giving them good lives. This is how you fight Islam. You make a better dunya. Okay. So Islam tries to, if you want Muslims to be radicalized, just give them horrible lives. So they focus on the afterlife rather than this life. If you want Muslims not to be radicalized, treat your Muslims like Israel treats them, which gives them Israel treats the Muslims in Israel better than Muslims of Muslim countries. Like the best country in the Middle East to be a Muslim at is Israel. The best country in the Middle East and North Africa to be an Arab at is Israel. You get more rights, you get more freedoms, you get more opportunities. So that's how it works. So you could reduce the effects of Islam in Muslims by giving them hope for the future, by making them first focus on dunya rather than akhirat. So the Islam teaches you to focus on akhirat, which means the afterlife, and the dunya is like temporary and worthless compared to the akhirat. And if you it's two forces that reduces like radicalism and religious thinking, right? One is activism, but the most important one is economic prosperity and freedoms and rights. Yeah.
John gave a super chat saying, just guys being guys, we're lonely. And actually, I think that is, I think you are, and that's okay. And if you just gotta kiss your homie goodnight on the lips because you're a little bit lonely, that's okay. Zaid is saying platonic hand-holding in Arab countries has stopped being the norm. The homophobia too strong here. Damn, another L. Y'all gonna let yourselves get westernized like that? I love this comment. So if your friend kisses you on the lips and says sup bro, that's just him expressing how much he values our friendship. That's right, fam.
I like how we're discussing all of this in the middle.
Yeah, it's not gay to just, tell the homies how much you love them and value them in your life. Hope that they achieve their dreams and true happiness and fulfillment, man.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.